And we lived in fear, you guys, for a long time. Like, I think, God, you've got this wrong. Like, I think you've got the wrong couple. Who's going to listen to us? But the Bible is filled with stories of people who are the least of these, who are broken and sinners and messed up. And they use that story for redemption. And that is our story. That is Marriage365. There's so much shame around marriage. You're in good company. We've made every mistake. We've given the silent treatment. We've threatened divorce. We've yelled. We've thrown things at each other. But God has redeemed it where we actually like each other. Like, we laugh and we enjoy marriage. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how it could be.
If we can do it, come on. You can do it.
You can do this.
We were the least likely to succeed, the least qualified, the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Maverick River Podcast. We're so glad that you tuned in today. We have an amazing episode coming up with some dear friends of ours. It's going to be an amazing conversation. It might even get a little bit PG-13 rated R, because generally that's where the two of them go. But it's exciting because we usually just have a guy on the podcast. Today we have a couple, and I'm thrilled to introduce Casey and Megan to the Maverick River Podcast studios. Here we are. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And you know what, Tim? Great introduction. And what I love is that we're friends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've known each other for years. And but you got to tell our audience a little bit about yourselves and how your story led to your ministry, Marriage365. I mean,
come on, already, Tim.
She starts off with the PG-13.
It's host of yours.
well, they wrote a book called Naked Dinner.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Which we'll probably have to talk about. What is naked dinner?
Yeah, that's a whole nother
Sounds
thing.
like a great time.
Yeah.
Incredible practice.
Yeah.
Every couple needs to have a naked dinner.
It's got a brown bag surrounding the cover. But tell us a little bit about yourselves and how your story led into Marriage365.
Absolutely. So we are college sweethearts. We met at Vanguard University.
Go Lions.
Woohoo! Exactly. I was an incoming freshman, and Casey was on the freshman welcoming committee.
And I saw her from across the quad, and I was like, you need a private tour.
Yeah. So dating was amazing. It was fun. We loved it. And we thought, let's do this forever because this is so easy. And then we got married 2 years later. And we got in the biggest fight on our wedding night.
Yep. I slept on the couch, actually.
Yep.
That's not a good sign.
Wow. Great start.
No. And basically, within 3 years of being married, we grew to hate each other. And I don't mean like hate, like I mean like hate. Like, I did not like this guy. Like, I used to dream, like, could God, you just kind of like take him away somehow? So like I didn't have to divorce him. Like, it was that bad. And we just fought about everything. We had no communication skills. We had in-law drama, student loan debt. I mean, you name it, it was stacked against us.
And it was weird because I was never like an angry person before I got married. Like, literally, there was like this new person that showed up, and I'm like, why am I angry all the time?
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, it was all these expectations that I had over her that when she didn't meet them, I was like, I just explode on her. And so I think that was kind of like, there's this brewing of these unmet, unspoken expectations over each other because dating was so much fun. I mean, I wrote a love song. I wrote a song for her and sang it to her. Okay.
Could you possibly sing that right now?
Oh,
I only sang it once.
Okay.
I mean, but that was
It was that good.
It was just a one-hit wonder. It was just, let's leave it at that. And that was, the dating was so much fun. It was all the great memories, food, experiences. And then all of a sudden, like, everything switched. We're like having to pick, insurance plans, and we're paying bills. And this mundane of life was not what I was prepared for in dating. So,
Yeah. So long story short, I wanted to divorce. He did not. He said, well, if it's going to happen, you're going to have to sign the papers and go through that. So thankfully, my best friend said, I feel like you should go talk to somebody about this. This is a really big decision. So I went to a therapist, and she was amazing. And I sat down with her on the couch, and I complained about Casey for 30 minutes because in my mind, he was the problem, not me. If he would just change this, we'd be fine. I was very closed-minded at that point and hurting. And she said two things that changed my life. She said, Megan, have you done everything and anything you can to save your marriage so you don't live with regret? And I knew I hadn't done everything. I hadn't apologized. I hadn't forgiven him. I hadn't done really anything. And then she said, if you want to make a better marriage, it starts by making a better you. And that really intrigued me. I leaned in and she said, Casey's not here, but you are. I can show you how to have boundaries, forgive your husband, communicate with clarity, and then you can make your decision. But I feel like you haven't given yourself even a chance to live out your vows. And so that's what I did. For 13 months, I worked on our marriage by myself without a willing partner.
That's right. And I think, Megan and I were definitely doing this dance, the toxic tango. And, we had our moves. I would yell, she would yell back. And she started setting boundaries in a way that were very shocking to me. So I remember there was one time I came into the house and I was like, red faced. I'm like, you're going to hear from me. I was just super frustrated. Who knows about what? And she looked at me and as calmly as possible just said, I can tell you're upset. I really want to hear what you have to say, but I'm not going to yell with you like we've done in the past. So why don't you take a beat, go outside. I'm going to sit on the couch. I will be waiting here when you come back and we'll have a conversation. And my jaw hits the floor. I'm like, wait, what? The rules of engagement have totally changed. And with that, it took several times, but it started to reveal that I was actually the toxic one at that point. And so in a lot of ways, we always kind of say like, if you want to make a better marriage, it starts by making a better you. She started dancing the cha-cha, right? So then I'm like, we're doing a different dance. Yeah. And then slowly but surely, she inspired me in a lot of ways that like, and we're both competitive. So I'm like, there's not going to be a world where you're healthier than me. So I'm going to out-health you.
Yeah. So we say it took us 2 years to fall in love. It took us 3 years to destroy our marriage. And it took about 4 or 5 years to repair our marriage, which is really where then you entered in. That's where we met you, Eric, was really we were in recovery and knowing that God was stirring something up in our hearts and our lives and our minds to do something with marriage, but we just didn't know what it was. But when we were getting help for our marriage, we couldn't afford therapy. Most people can't. And so then what do you do? And this was before podcasts. This was before Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So there weren't a lot of resources. There was maybe like Focus on the Family. But even then, I felt like it was so watered down. We had so much baggage and trauma, you guys, that we brought into our marriage because there's 12 marriages between our parents, which is a huge part of our story. 12 marriages. We came from a really, just both of us, very messy, blended family.
That's affairs. Like both our moms are narcissists. We got borderline personality. We got, bipolar. We have everything in terms like a mixed bag of tricks. Like we were like doomed from the beginning in terms of like setting up for success. And I think that's why even like principles or theories about marriage, for us, it was like, okay, what are we supposed to do with that? And I think that's where we've really had to grapple. And I think even the content today is very tactical and practical. Like, what am I supposed to do on a Tuesday morning? We got you covered.
Yeah.
So how did your story, because people listening to this right now go, wait a minute, we're going to listen to them about marriage. They blew up their marriage. And then all the years it took for you to finally find that rhythm. So what led to Marriage 365? How did you get there?
That's a great question. We get asked that a lot. So I love to say that
Hey, YouTube listeners, if you're liking this episode, we'd love for you to subscribe and continue to share this content. We want to get this out to everyone to enjoy and be inspired to follow Jesus.
I love to say that genuinely there's a lot of like versions of the story. And obviously if we had hours and hours, it's an incredible story, but God called us. At the end of the day, we've never met anyone who does any kind of marriage ministry that wants to do it. You are called to do it. It is front lines, the hardest, not sexy ministry. And so we're called. That's really where it came from. And we lived in fear, you guys, for a long time. Like, I think, God, you've got this wrong. Like, I think you've got the wrong couple. Who's going to listen to us? But the Bible is filled with stories of people who are the least of these, who are broken and sinners and messed up, and they use that story for redemption. And that is our story. That is Marriage 365. Because what I love is we level the playing field for anybody. There's so much shame around marriage. And I'm like, you're in good company. We've made every mistake. We've given the silent treatment. We've threatened divorce. We've yelled. We've thrown things at each other. Like, there's a lot of crap that we've done to one another, but God has redeemed it where we actually like each other. Like, we laugh and we enjoy marriage. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how it could be. So we're called.
And in a lot of ways, we're kind of like the bottom of the barrel. So it's almost like if we can do it,
Come on.
You can do it.
You can do this.
Because we were the least likely to succeed, the least qualified. I mean, honestly, like the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Well, I've used your story with couples and, because all of us want to be a powerful example, but some of us have to be a horrific warning. And,
Yes.
and so what I realize is, an axiom in leadership is you can't lead somebody where you haven't been.
Right.
And that's when I look at Marriage 365, I said, of course God would use you because he led you out of Hades.
Literally.
Yeah.
Hades.
Hades.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
is that all right?
No, because there was
Totally.
genuinely hatred. Like,
Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah.
But also, I think one of the things that many couples resonates, not only the hard parts of your story, because they're usually in the middle of the fire and the crisis, but also your authenticity, your fun, you're real. And when you're in that mess, you don't want any fluff. You just need, like you said, the practical.
Well, and that was probably, when we did marriage retreats when we were first married, it was typically a very campy talk by some couples like, hi, everybody.
Was it Eric?
Oh, wow.
Okay, I take offense.
Definitely.
I'm playing.
I think, back 15 years ago, there weren't a lot of people willing to bear it all.
Sure.
And I think that was one of the reasons why, we saw a large social media following pretty quickly was we were finally just telling a story.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 15 years ago. Vulnerability was still kind of like an early
A new term.
new term. Brene Brown and that whole thing with being vulnerable. And we were just like, well, this is how ugly it was. And then people were like, oh, okay, so we're safe with you.
We're not alone.
You were not alone.
Yes. I think people feel very comforted to just know that we really are an average everyday couple. There's nothing special about us other than we fought for our marriage. But we started it as more individual work and less couple. And that alone is a very newer thing in culture because it's very disempowering to hear, well, I got to wait for my spouse to change.
Right.
I'm waiting for I don't know how many women I hear every day say, but if only my husband, that was me for 3 years. That is, you're stuck.
It's the lie that we tell
It's the lie.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Is it somehow, and who's the only person you can control?
Yourself,
That's
your
it.
words, your behavior, your boundaries, your tone, your attitude. I decided to change for me. I didn't change for Casey. And I think that this is really important for anyone listening that's married is if you ever do change and you change because your spouse is requesting, you'll resent them.
Yeah.
Right? Or you feel pressured like, oh, I should. No, you should change. I knew I had stuff I had to work on. I wanted to be a really amazing wife. No matter if my husband changed or not, I was in it for myself first because I have to look at myself at the end of the day and say, Megan, did you do a good job? Were you kind? Were you loving? Were you compassionate? And I wasn't at year 3.
Yeah.
Now I can say I am on most days. Still have my moments. We're still messy.
That's all right.
We don't have a perfect marriage by any means. We still argue like everybody else. It just doesn't escalate anymore.
Right.
He hasn't yelled at me in probably 17 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where we used to yell all the time.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, I used to be a yeller too, and I didn't want to be a yeller anymore. Anybody can change. I genuinely believe we are in the business that if you really want to change, anyone can change.
I will say though, unfortunately, if you want to make a better marriage, make a better you, sucks.
Yes.
Because I was always thinking the equation was if you want to make a better marriage, your spouse better buck up, and that kind of like message of self, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's on you.
Examination.
Yeah, self-examination creates what I would consider probably one of the most reluctant customer bases possible. Because nobody wants to talk about their marriage. Nobody wants to go there because they feel they're
Ashamed.
Ashamed that they're not where they should be. Right? Because we are all broken. And the most intimate relationship that we have on this planet is with your spouse. They know everything. Like, at least I could hide some of those things from you or from you. Maybe.
No, you can't.
You can-
I
I can't.
can't. Too long.
Not from
In
Eric.
fact, I am
Not
here to
fair.
reveal Casey's sins.
Eric is the eye. Eric is the eye of Sauron.
Megan is perfect. Casey, not so much.
Eric's the big eye of Sauron. Zzz. Yes.
Yeah.
I love to judge.
Thank you for the Lord of the Rings.
love to
reference.
judge.
No, I would say it's the gift of discernment you have.
But
See, Casey,
let's
Megan's got
spiritualize
right.
it.
Yes.
But I so they know everything about you. And, there's parts of us that we all have. And we're like, that's a part that I don't want anybody to know about.
Right.
And your spouse is like, yeah, that's something you need to work on. You're like, oh.
Yeah. I think that's where couples are really surprised. They get married, you come out of the courtship, you're just loving on each other and it's just fun. You get into marriage and as you integrate, whatever's broken or blind to you shows up and you go, what in the world?
Yes.
Yeah, didn't expect this. And then the natural thing is to, if she was better.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, or if he was better.
Finger pointing.
That's, yeah.
Yes.
So Marriage 365 happens. For those listening, that is an incredible online resource. It's an app, also a website loaded with video content, I think blog posts, all sorts of resources, both for the individual, probably couples. You guys also do coaching and men's cohorts, all sorts of stuff. Anything else, just add in throughout. But I just want to make sure that we explain what that is. And then also, one of the things I think would be, because we just talked about it, is resentment builds, pain starts to build. And you got to 3 years, I think you said, of just like, it took us 3 years to ruin our marriage, 4 years to repair your marriage. In that 3 years, one of the things that can often lead to divorce, which is where you at least shared, divorce, I think, is over 50% in our country at this point.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is such a high percentage in our culture?
Great question. Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Why don't you go first?
Okay.
And then I'll follow up.
I think you're going to agree with my answer, but I have a feeling we have two answers for this.
Yeah.
The number one reason why I believe people divorce and they didn't have to is because they don't know how to repair the hurt. So you're talking about resentment. We hurt each other, we make mistakes, and people use things like, you'll hear men say, oh, I'm in the doghouse, I got to buy flowers. People will use things like makeup sex. We just need to go to therapy. We just need to pray more. And while all those things are wonderful, therapy, flowers, makeup sex, we're not going to say not to do any of those things. That's actually not what true repair requires to make a marriage last. And so there's all these people that are hurting, and they keep hurting each other, and they just don't know how to stop it and how to fully, really, truly heal, which is what we offer at Marriage 365. Because then that's a lipo moment. Once I started to heal on my own, my heart softened towards Casey. I didn't see him as my enemy anymore. I saw him as a hurting person, hurting me, and then I had compassion towards him.
Wow.
Yeah. So couples I just had this conversation yesterday. Casey, we have a massive communication problem. And I'm like, no, you don't. Because you can communicate with other people. What you have is built up resentment and unforgiveness. That is the number one thing. And so people will get divorced and they will tick the box irreconcilable differences. I would actually probably want to put unresolved differences, because Megan and I have irreconcilable differences. So do you. We all do. They will never be reconciled. It's what are you going to do with that, tension? And a lot of people will take it personal, then they weaponize that, then they use it against each other. And that anger and that resentment and unforgiveness builds and builds and builds to a point where somebody will just say, well, maybe we fell out of love, it's not worth it. And everything could be resolved with true repair. If they knew how to repair their relationship, it's almost at this point, I'm like, give me the worst couple possible. And we can turn it around as long as they're willing to repair their relationship.
Yeah, Jesus said it a different way. He said, the only cause or reason for divorce is the hardness of men's hearts. And we built the whole philosophy of marriage ministry at Mariners based on that.
Yeah.
Like, I will not work with a couple. I'll say, if you're willing to humble yourselves, I'll work with you. If not, I'm not going to waste your time or my time.
There you go.
Because they're going to have to own what they've done to hurt their spouse.
Yeah.
And it's not just what you've done, it's what you didn't do.
Yes.
So it's, the Catholics popularized sins of commission and sins of omission.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so exactly what you're saying, the humility thing is why couples divorce. They're not willing to own their stuff.
So,
Correct.
so all of that repair attempt clues into the one most important thing that couples Like it's the most underutilized, but the most powerful tool in our toolbox. And that is a 4-step apology.
Yeah.
One that, acknowledges this is what I did, validates the hurt that we caused in the other person, takes ownership of it, asks how to rebuild trust, and invites forgiveness. If you can do that, and then that's a regular recurring habit, marriage will never be hard.
Yeah.
It will be easy. People that say like, marriage is so hard. It's like, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, we think when we hear that, we usually say, you're probably doing it wrong. We did it wrong as well.
Yeah.
You can actually learn to do it a better way, a more effective way. Because I'm an Enneagram 8, I'm a fixer. I'm a very efficient person. I recognize time is very precious and valuable. So I'm like, just tell me exactly how to do this and how to fix this kind of mentality, which is where a lot of our tools at Marriage365 come from. Because I'm like, we can't be the only couple fighting about this. There has to be a solve to this. And then I go into like fix it mode. Yeah.
But if foundationally there isn't the ownership,
Correct.
you can't fix anything.
No.
Right.
Yeah, because you're operating out of resentment, which is again why I love that you wrote the book, The Marriage Habit. I read it. It's a fast read, very, very practical. And I'm glad you put in the whole thing of reconciling the relationship, working through the tough things. But tell us a little bit about the book. I had hoped, that we were going to talk about Naked Dinner, but that's a whole other book.
I mean,
Get there.
We can still talk about
We
that.
can still
That's
talk about
important.
it. Yeah.
Well, there
So-
might be children listening.
That's true. For those of you listening, this is PG-13.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the idea behind the marriage habit was, what it takes to make marriage easy is not necessarily these big grand overtures. It's not the trips to Paris or, the big fancy steak dinners. It's actually, small, repeatable habits. It's systems and structures. I mean, that's, let's talk guy talk. I know the ladies want to talk about romance, but for guys, like they immediately connect with the idea that, in business, we have these systems and structures, an operating system
Right.
to create success in our business. So we've got KPIs, we've got staff meetings, we've got quarterly plannings, right? What's our culture look like? Who's monitoring the cash balances? These are all systems and structures that ensure success in our business. But then these same entrepreneurial men that I've worked with, I said, what kind of operating system do you have at home? And they look at me blankly like, I thought love is all you need. I thought we're just supposed to wing it, or are we supposed to just rely on hope? I'm like, well, if you take the same principles behind what you do in your business and apply the same sense of intentionality,
There you go.
that's the key word that I lock in on. I go intentionality to what is the most important relationship. Everybody says, oh, I value my marriage and family, right? Those are the values. But they don't have any forethought about how we're going to play this game. So it's really interesting because as I started to understand, well, what is intentionality? What does that mean? It's actually Latin for intendere, okay? Which is 2 words smashed together, stretch forward. So this intentional lifestyle is this idea of stretching forward, right? So stretching is uncomfortable, but then this idea of forward of like, what's the vision that I'm chasing after? So how am I stretching forward to this vision? And if I would say the opposite of intentional is like, kind of like leaning back, comfort, convenience.
Complacent.
Yeah.
Complacency.
So are we intentional in creating structures and systems for our family to ensure their success? And if so, that's what each of those 10 habits are. Is like, what can we apply in our family life to create connection and fun? Because I would say like everybody wants the love and the romance and all the feel good stuff, but they're kind of waiting for it to to blow in the room or something.
Organically happen.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
all bliss.
Yeah, I think a lot of couples, they sit down and they're like, yeah, we need to spend more time together, or we need to have more sex, or whatever the issue is, right? They have these great conversations. They both kind of agree that like this is something they need to work on, but then there's no plan created. It's very vague. Like we should be better. We should turn our phones off more. We should go on date nights more. We should this.
They basically shit all over themselves.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was gonna say.
Yes.
But you
But
said
then there's and then there's no plan created. There's no intentionality. So the desire's there, which is great, But then what we wanted to do with these habits was give people very practical to do, simple. Some of them are simple. Some of them are a little bit more complicated. So you could just pick up a chapter and read one habit and actually implement it that same day.
Very practical.
You don't have to know theory. You don't have to be a marriage and family therapist. This is for literally the everyday couple. And what I love and what's interesting we're seeing with the book is that men really like this. And just so you guys know, since I'm sitting with a bunch of men, did you know that 90% of marriage books are only read by women? 90%.
That's
Because they're the problem.
That's it.
Wow. Yes. Problem.
I just needed to say that. I just,
High five.
yeah, because
I love
Debbie's not
it.
sitting here, so I can say that.
Hopefully she'll
my gosh,
listen and you're in
so
trouble.
Funny. Oh my gosh. Yes, we are the problem. We need to read all the marriage books.
Yes.
Yeah, no. And so I think it's interesting because when we wrote this, we specifically, there's like husband insights and women's insights, because I think that the male and female perspective both matter.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that men are like, this is actually the only marriage book like I actually like. Because again, it's quick.
Yeah.
It's practical.
It's like a handbook.
It's like a handbook. And we
Yeah.
did that on purpose because while I want women, I already knew women would read the book. I really wanted men to read the book
Right.
too, because
Yeah.
it's both of you.
Yeah.
You want to hear a crazy statistic, though, is that only 19% of couples will ever get any sort of relationship education. That's
Yeah.
books, counseling, courses, or whatnot. So that means 4 out of 5 couples out there
Thanks.
will do 0 for the relationship.
Which answers why the divorce rate's so high.
Of
Correct.
course.
And, you know, we look nationally, but California, it's way higher.
Yes.
And it's just people don't intentionally work at their marriage.
No.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most important, most grounding relationships that we will have
Yeah.
is with our spouse.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can have all the success in the world. In fact, just a quick story is Megan and I got a chance to work with like a top 10 NBA player. And as we visited with him, you know, he's got all the accoutrements of his success. And you could see like, even I was like a little intimidated, like, I kind of want that car over there too. Right. Like all of that stuff is what everybody's chasing after: the watches, the cars, the house.
The influence, the money.
Yeah.
He has anything that he could have ever dreamed of and more.
And I'll never forget what he said. He's like, Casey, I literally can buy anything I want.
Yeah.
But I don't have the one thing I need, because he was estranged from his wife at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And you could see like, he'd be like, I'd give it away in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
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 Doesn't mean anything to me.
I think I've talked about this before, and Eric, you do a lot more marriage counseling than I do, but I've heard that exact story in a different form.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, partially because we live in Orange County, but also just anywhere. You know, men often think, if I just get to this level, this amount of wealth, but yet the amount of times I've had the conversation of a guy sitting in my office miserable saying, I have it all, yet I'm completely miserable.
Yeah.
Because my wife won't talk to me, my kids hate me, or she's wanting a divorce, whatever else. And so investing, back to 4 out of 5, never put any sort of education into understanding of how to be good at marriage. It's so true. And like, I think sometimes, often I'm sure you've talked to, we as men think, well, I'm doing all this, so this is great. But yet we get so blinded in the process of elevating our wealth or career, we miss what's most important.
Correct.
And it's just like,
Yeah, probably the greatest lie is, you know, as long as I'm financially providing for my family, I'm doing good as a husband.
right.
That's not true at all. I don't know who said that, but they need to be taken out the back and shot.
Satan.
Satan.
Wow.
Satan.
Getting pretty dark. There's guns and
Hades.
yeah.
I will say,
Yes.
I think that culturally, obviously the last 150 years has changed because we used to have better examples of marriages. You'd see your grandparents, you'd have your parents. Well, now, I mean, we came from 12 marriages. We had no example.
Right.
If you don't have an example, how would you actually know how to have a great marriage? Hollywood does not give a good example. Disney does not give a good example. So we have this very confusing example. And then unfortunately enter in social media, you see the perfect example, but we all know it's a facade. Those people fight, those people argue, those people have issues, right? But they're not going to show that. And I think that's really what our heart is like, we want to say like, let's all level the playing field. We all have our issues in our marriage. Some of us have bigger issues than others. Some of us have more trauma, but here's what a healthy, normal marriage looks like. We try really hard to present that to people. And I think that there's power behind video. That's why we're so video based, is because we want people to see us argue.
Right.
Well, and you're very good looking.
Oh, well, that helps.
Yeah.
Thank
Well, you, not Casey.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's his face
It
for
was a
radio.
similar you.
No, he's the eye candy. What are you talking about, Eric? Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, I think that I want to give people a cup of grace that are listening that are like, well, I didn't have an example. It's okay. We didn't either. But you're going to have to learn, and you're going to have to find people. And one of the things that Casey and I did when we were healing our marriage, and you were part of that, was we went to people who were married and messy, not perfect, and said, what are you doing? What have you done? What are we not doing? What should we be doing? And you learn from that. Everyone should have a marriage mentor. Yeah. I believe everybody should have. Unfortunately, just not enough people put themselves out there to do that.
Sure.
But that's like a bigger vision and dream we have one day.
Well, what you've described is why we have a statistic like number one, when I got married, the average age was 22.3. Now it's over 30. Wow. Why? And then the cohabitation. In 1990, there were 3.2 million cohabiting couples. Today, it's 18 million.
Wow.
And so you look at it, and it's all down to fear, because couples don't have, they're fear-based because they don't see healthy marriages.
Yes.
And that's why Marriage 365 is so important, is that they understand when you have certain tools, any marriage. I've never run into anything like you said where I go, oh, can't resolve this.
Yes.
But it's what you guys talked about, the resentment and bitterness that builds, and then they think they can never get back to a healthy place.
And we're here to say you can.
That's it.
There is hope.
Yep.
And I would agree 99% of the time a marriage is fixable. If you have two willing people, we would still encourage you, focus on yourself first. That's going to help you. But yeah, we'd rarely see unfixable marriages.
Right.
And we see millions of marriages.
Right.
Yeah.
I would definitely say we've got some existential crises coming up that we are wanting to address head on. I think skepticism around marriage. I mean, coming from our background, of course, we would be the biggest skeptics of them all. Like,
Sure.
I don't know if this can actually work. We are having a population decline coming our way because we're now getting married later in life. So we're actually taking away a full decade of child rearing and childbearing. We have a digital native generation that's coming through the dating scene, and all statistics are showing that it is horrendous.
Wow.
The dating scene is terrible. Yeah. The way people treat each other with ghosting and not being able to have, conversations face to face. So think about our generation that's coming up. We've got issues. What did you?
Well, I was going to say, do you guys know what FOBO is?
No.
You've heard of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh.
FOBO is a very newer term in the dating world. It's fear of better options.
Yes.
Because think back when all of us, we were all dating our people, right? You had maybe one option at youth group, or, you met the guy in college, right?
Yeah.
Now there's literally millions online. There's always a fear that there could be someone better out there for me.
Oh, yeah.
FOBO is a massive crisis that we are going to continue to see if we don't change something.
Well, and because of the divorce rate, a lot more young women want to make sure they have their career in place.
Yep.
And so they don't want to get married early on because what if I get divorced? So this divorce thing is having a rippling effect where we're not kids. It's the lack of people getting married, but a lot of young women don't want to get married because they want to have their career.
Do you want to hear something crazy? I
do. In
the DC metro area, did you know 49% of the housing is occupied by one person? Not families.
Yeah.
Wow.
49%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lonely people living by themselves.
So we have now, another existential crisis for us is the loneliness epidemic, which is creating more mental health issues. So we have, one of the things that I am leaning into in this new season of life is all about how do we close this relationship skill gap that we have in our culture? Because all of these things, if we have to skew towards marriage and family values if we want to continue this American experiment. Absolutely. Because this is the crisis that will, Who cares if houses are affordable? If we can't start families, there's not going to be another generation to pick that back up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go back to, sorry, Eric.
No.
Sorry, I just went mega.
You started to give one practical example, Megan. You talked about like without when there's resentment and forgiveness, you know, how do we get out of that space? And you talked about there are tools. You listed off like acknowledgement, validation, and a couple other things. But like, what are some of those practical things to help a couple go from I don't even want to be near this person ever again, I'm over this, I'm done, to healing that resentment and that pain?
Yeah, I mean, Casey had alluded to the 4-step apology, which basically is step 1 is I'm sorry for action plus feeling. And there's a period at the end of that sentence because the moment we say, well, I'm really sorry, I haven't initiated sex because I've been really busy, and you go into a but or you go into an explanation, it just wiped away the whole apology, which is what most couples do. And they don't even recognize that they're doing it. So step 2 is I was wrong. And that's really taking accountability more so for the impact that it's made. There's this thing called intent versus impact. Have you guys heard of that phrase before? Our intent usually as married people is really good. It's usually really pure, really helpful. Unfortunately, sometimes the impact is very negative. And so when you're saying I was wrong, you're saying you're wrong for the impact, the negative impact that it had on your spouse. Step 3 is the step that every couple misses. How can I make this better? We have to now rebuild trust. We can't keep hurting each other the same ways over and over again and just keep forgiving each other. So let's now brainstorm as a couple, how can we make this better? And then the 4th step is, will you forgive me? This invites, of course, healing and letting go of that resentment. And now the ball is in your spouse's court to forgive. But one of the habits in the book is actually all on forgiveness, because I do believe a lot of women hold grudges more than men. I do know men who hold grudge too, but I'm going to say I think women were horrible at this. We remember the details. We hold on to the pain. And then if we're talking to our girlfriends, it stews more, right? Which just is going to build more resentment. And I think so many women, myself included, I really wanted to forgive Casey. I didn't know how to. And so we walk someone through that process, because really it starts with your thoughts towards your spouse. It starts in the head. And women wait for them to feel forgiveness. And we would definitely challenge anyone listening saying, do not feel your way through forgiveness, especially if those wounds are deep. You're not going to wake up and be like, gosh, darn it, I just feel like forgiving my man today. No, if they've really hurt you, you're never going to feel it. And that's what I think a lot of people wait for. It's those feelings. So you have to start choosing to forgive and letting that go. So that's kind of the first
So if
initial.
you're starting at ground zero, you got to go through habits 8 and 9, which is the unsolicited apology. Actually, if you do an unsolicited apology, that's like extra bonus points.
Which means not prompted. Like, you had a bad day yesterday. Or
you're aware enough that you hurt your spouse in a specific
Without her bringing it forward.
Yes, it's more powerful, and it rebuilds trust even more on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then the process of forgiveness. So I would consider that reconciliation. Let's just say you're at the 5th floor on a 10-story building, and you want to take your marriage to the next level. The next stop I would give you is the weekly marriage business meeting. It is the most powerful tool. I mean, our worksheet's been downloaded 1 million times. Literally. And the stories that we get to hear back is this tool cut our conflict by half.
Wow.
Because the main point of the weekly marriage business meeting is all about finding alignment with our schedules and the week ahead. And that's where a lot of conflict comes up. We're misaligned, right? Some broken expectation. I thought you were supposed to go here. The weekly marriage business meeting finds that alignment, because now we have like this, what I literally call your calendar as your single source of truth. Like, this is everything that's happening today throughout the week with the kids, meal plans,
budgets,
self-care.
Connection time, like you're calendaring time for you as a couple, because you'll hear a lot of women say, well, I want to go on date night and I want to spend more time with you. And they're like, yeah, again, agreeance. Yeah, that sounds good. But then nothing's put in a calendar. You're leaving it up to chance. It's not going to happen. We all have children. Well, it's never going to happen.
This is the question we often get when we do Q&As. Man, connection time sounds amazing. We just can't find the time. Like, Yeah, because you have to make the time.
Yes.
You're
And
not-
we always say your calendar and your bank account are reflections of what you truly value.
Sure.
I know, but it's true. So if your spouse isn't on your calendar, then you probably, whether you realize it or not, you're not prioritizing them. And for all the female listeners, I'm sure they will agree, we really want to feel prioritized.
Yeah.
That's really important for women.
Well, and you know what you're saying in terms of the business meeting, you know, the sad part is a lot of couples use their date night for a business meeting.
Yes.
And that's horrible because that should be the night you're not talking about money. You're not talking about the kid. You're talking about your relationship, how you're doing, dreams you
Having
have.
fun together,
Exactly.
making new memories.
And then they make it a business meeting. And
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes, especially for all of you Enneagram 7s.
Yes.
Date nights are so fun. I'm a wing 7, so woo! Like I want to have fun
Join
with
the
this
7
guy.
club, Megan.
I know. I'm a wing 7. Yeah, but I think that that's so important. And we have 3 rules for date nights that are so helpful: is no
great.
talking about work,
yep.
no talking about the kids,
Even though they're cute.
I know, and no talking about money.
Yeah.
And let's say you have a really bad day at work, something happened, dramatic. You give it 5 minutes. Say, hey, babe, I just got to vent really quick about my boss. And then you just put it down now and just be a couple. But I think even too, like with date nights, people assume they have to go out and spend money. Yeah. And that's where we, in the book, give a ton of ideas. Taking a walk in your neighborhood counts as connection time. Sure.
Yeah.
If it's free. We play, how many games of Rummy and Yahtzee and Sequence have we played? We play a game almost every single night.
Yeah.
And yes, our kids will tell you, we have a huge game closet and cabinet. And our kids will say, like, my mom and dad, they have fun together. They know we have fun. And again, it's 10 minutes.
We literally have about 25 decks of cards.
Yep. We love it.
What's the number one game right now?
Running.
Rummy right now.
Or play a version of golf. If you're golf, where you kind of flip the cards
game
over.
too, right?
Yeah. Nerds. Nerds is a great card
Dude
game.
Perfect.
Dude, perfect.
We love
It's a
Dude
game.
Perfect.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
great.
the board
With the,
game?
like,
We haven't played the board game, but we have the tic-tac-toe game.
Oh, come on. You got
Yeah,
me at the
what's
board
the-
game.
the
Is it
board game's fun.
It's really fun.
Is it fun? Okay,
Oh,
we love
gosh,
Dude
yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
What's
My
the game?
grandkids love it.
Crazy
same.
Chicken or
What?
Crazy chicken?
Oh, Silly Goose.
Oh, Silly Goose.
That's
a fun
different
one.
than a
Yeah.
crazy chicken.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Now, what's really fun, because we're all married here, is that like you can spice up your game night and be like, winner gets
Watch
a
out.
5-minute back massage, or winner gets to pick sex position. Like, so we're super
Ayo.
hip,
5 minute,
right?
5 minute back rub, shirts off.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, have fun with it. And I feel like we've all been married a long time. It can get very boring. Like, okay, well, we've played Rummy 20 times. Well, spice it up then. Or winner doesn't have to do the dishes. Like, you can make it fun. So we
Usually-
give all these ideas.
usually
Is
I'm
that
like,
your next book? Naked board games?
I'm like,
Keeps bringing the
Listen.
naked dinners back.
Everyone wants to know about
versus
the
shirts.
naked.
I'm gonna wear my shirt.
Yeah. Oh.
There you go. Do we need to talk just quickly 2 minutes
Yes.
about naked dinners?
We do because
Yeah.
he's brought it up.
Okay.
And it's your first ebook,
It is.
right?
It's
It
hot.
was our
ebook.
first
It's hot in this
ebook.
room.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Eric, your beautiful wife, was the one that came up with
Yes.
the title of the book. I have to give her full credit.
She's so honored.
Okay, this shows the naivete of us walking into marriage.
It's our first day back from our honeymoon. We're newly married. We're thinking everyone has dinner in the nude, right? We literally thought that every married person must
Right?
eat naked.
Right.
What were
Right.
we thinking, you guys?
Sure.
So we make dinner and we sit down. It's super awkward. We just undress. We're butt naked. And all of a sudden, there is a knock at the door,
Goodness.
and we didn't lock our front door.
Oh, no.
And his friend starts turning the knob, like opening the door. Talking
It was
about
a buddy
moment.
from Sweden. He didn't have all the
There's
social
no
norms.
explanation
Yeah.
good enough.
No,
I ran so fast to the back of our apartment, and Casey got a dishcloth to cover him. And the friend's like,
Weird that he's by himself with a dishcloth. I mean, it's actually.
hey,
that
I'm just
might have
having a
been
meal.
worse. Oh,
Naked.
hey.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And so he comes in, his name's Johan.
Oh, boy.
And both of us are like 30 shades of red, so embarrassed. Anyways, and so, but it was this moment of how sweet and innocent that we believed that that's what marriage was. Yet there was also this like shame and funny story. And so the book is about sex. So that's how we open the book with Naked Dinners. But the encouragement to anyone that reads it or that's listening is we believe that there's this beautiful thing that God created sex to be a very bonding source for a couple.
Yep.
And the enemy does everything he can to get you into the bedroom before you get married. And then he does everything he can to get you out of the bedroom after you get married. Like know that. Wow. Is that not so true?
So true.
And so we would say that you should be naked emotionally, but then obviously you should be naked in the bedroom too. There's a play on that in the book.
So I want to leverage that. Talk about emotional intimacy.
What?
Yeah.
Every guy just went.
Every guy was like, what?
Yeah.
Cross-eyed. What's that?
Because, part of what you were talking about, the repair work and things like that, you don't just get to emotional intimacy. Talk a little bit about that and how just practical tools you would tell our listeners.
Well, it's science. The number one way to build emotional intimacy is by asking an open-ended question. It's everything that we did when we were dating someone.
Yeah.
You sit across the table from them and you're just like, tell me everything about yourself. Tell me, what was your bedroom like as a teenager? Do you have a good relationship with your dad? Where do you want to go in life? Like you asked all these very inquisitive questions to get to understand that person. Like that, for a lot of us guys, the goal was like kind of like plumb the depths of who this person is and get to know who they are. But then we get married and we stop asking good questions. We start, like Megan got tired of me. I came home with 3 questions. How was your day? What's for dinner? Can we have sex? It was like 3 beats.
Rinse, wash, repeat.
And she's like, you need to stop asking me those questions. I'm like, I don't know what to ask. Yeah. So that's why we came up with one of our books, 365 Connecting Questions for couples. Yeah. It's a tool.
But I think the purpose behind that is when you ask a question, it shows curiosity and desire. And that builds that emotional connection. We can't think that we've already learned everything about our spouse.
Yeah.
We continue to evolve and grow every day. We should. Right? Like Casey met me when I was 18. I'm not the same person that I was at 18. Sure. And so that's a very practical tool on how to build emotional intimacy. But I think words that come to my mind is trust, safety, friendship, connection, communication, because I do believe I get a lot of husbands with coaching and they're like, all my wife is doing is asking, I want emotional intimacy. And he's like, I have no idea what that means. So the practicality is start asking her open-ended questions, get to know her heart. But I do believe that you have to make time for it, or it's just not going to happen.
Yep. Or if you've not done repair work, because
Correct.
if you're resentful or bitter, like I had this wife that said, my husband's always working. I said, well, what have you done to him? And she didn't understand that at first. I said, a husband that loves his wife is at home. And she admitted she was very critical of him. I said, no wonder he doesn't want to come in the house. No wonder he doesn't want to spend time with you.
He's probably an avoider too.
Sure. And that just elevated that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he probably created that too.
Oh, sure.
He created the critical wife. I mean, that is like the most common.
Remember, Casey, the problem's the woman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
It started
As
with her.
someone who has struggled with criticism, that is one of my biggest areas of growth, by the way. I'm very aware that I can be critical with my words. I'm an Enneagram 8. I'm very sharp, very direct. Very stubborn and strong-willed, right, babe? But I think that, I would say that most women, we don't start off as critical. We request something in a kind way, usually. And then if it doesn't happen, or husband says, yeah, I'll do that, and then he doesn't follow through, we start going up and up and up and becoming more critical. Not to say that we should be critical, but I think that that's usually what happens in marriage.
Yeah. And
Which only pushes the husband away
And
more.
deep down inside every man that's in a 40, 50-year-old body still has that 7-year-old, I just want the attaboys from my dad.
I just want to know I'm
We got
enough.
that father wound chip. And then she comes in and she is so good. Women are so good with their words. And when they're ready to slay, I mean, they can cut a man down bad.
Yeah, we can.
And so it then starts the cycle of like avoidance. Then she's chasing him around the house and he's trying to run away from her. And that cycle can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So you brought up the word avoider. I think I text with you once, Casey, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a bad avoider. And you're like, I'm the chief avoider officer or something. And I was like, me too.
Yeah, CEO.
So how, And I imagine that is true for a lot of the people listening, men and women. I don't think that's just guys, although I think that's a little bit we like the attaboys.
Yeah.
But what are some practical things, because you even shared that you learned how to be better at not being a avoider and going after the conflict or difficult situation head on?
Great question. It takes me back to, I think avoidance comes in as like based out of insecurities. Like, I don't want to bring something out because I'm afraid of what will come out. The way that I've personally like approached how do I deal with these things is actually by building more confidence in myself. And that bridge, if there's like the shaky cliffs of insecurities and the solid granite walls of confidence, right? El Capitan. Think about like Yosemite or something like that. There's a bridge over it, and it's called self-awareness. And in our culture where we are distraction driven with whatever, we are not taking enough time to really process ourselves, our emotions. What am I feeling? So you have a lot of men that have never even taken time to just think about things, right? We're just kind of moving from one thing to the next. And one of the things I do with my men's cohort is I get them journaling. And journaling is like the number one way to kind of get whatever scripting's going on up here. Sometimes in the conscious mind, sometimes in the unconscious mind, to bring it out, write it down, read it, evaluate it. Like the handwriting journaling, there's so many things that are going on inside your body and your brain that it is the number one tool to building awareness and confidence in your life.
Now, if you're married to an avoider, because I'm not an avoider, I'm like a go-getter, I had my own role in that too, to help him recover from that so he could engage more. And I noticed that my tone, my attitude, the energy I bring is either going to make or break the conversation. I actually have a lot more power, and I have to be very cautious. So if you come in strong to an avoider, guys are like, peace out. Yeah.
Us, Enneagram 7,
you don't want conflict.
No,
You're here
fun.
for
Let's
fun.
party.
And conflict isn't fun.
Where's the confetti?
But a man will step into it if he knows there's a win.
Correct.
And you're in
so
reading
true.
The Marriage Habit, one thing I appreciate, because a number one skill is conflict resolution. A man usually doesn't want to step into a conflict because he's not going to win. In other words, a win-win, and so he avoids.
Yes,
because I've been down this argument before. I don't want this, but I was an avoider early on in my marriage, and I stopped being an avoider because I found my voice. But we created a way in which we can communicate, and we stay focused on the problem and not assassinate the person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when a man knows he can win and solve the issue, he's in.
Yes. And I think using we language, I always tell women with strong personalities or the spouse that's more of the fighter, not the flighter, is start off with something very positive and engaging. Like, I just want you to know I'm bringing this up because I love you and because I think we can be better at this. Not I think you're the problem, which is what I used to do.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you. Instantly, he'd be like, oh, I'm in trouble. So I now know what to say. We call like using it like a soft startup. Yeah. It's the way you do it, the way you say it, and the energy you bring. Like, I would like us to find a solution. I think we could be better at this. Hey, you're really good at this. And just so you know, I'm bringing this up because I care about you and I care about our marriage. Yeah. That language right there brings all his defenses down versus how I used to come with like boxing gloves on. You know?
Well, yeah, I would think that people treat marriage like a boxing match. It's you against me, and we're just going to beat each other up until somebody's going to win, lose.
That was me because I'm a right fighter.
The truth is,
I'm always right.
Oh,
I mean, truly,
exactly.
Yeah.
So we love to talk about the weenus.
Not the penis.
Not the penis.
The weenus.
Yeah.
Wow.
We do like to talk about the penis.
Naked dinners, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But we talk about the weenus.
You can download that on 365.com.
Man, we better get a lot of sales after
that
this.
thing-
The Naked Dinners book. My God.
It's going to sell more than the new book.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I think Naked Walking is your next book.
Naked strolls.
No, Naked Game Night.
Yeah,
Naked
Game Night.
Oh,
Yes.
It's a series.
It's a
Yeah.
series. It's a series. I love it.
And never naked walking, Eric. Like, that's no.
In the desert.
In the desert.
That's even weirder, but maybe indoors.
Wow.
Desert.
What were you going to say, Casey?
The
I just had a picture. I just had a picture of her doing Yahtzee.
Oh my
and
gosh. This definitely got PG-13.
The weenus. Go back to the
She's
weenus.
like, my dice are down here. I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, all right.
We're nearing 2:00.
Yeah.
The weenus, babe. Bring it back in.
Oh, yeah. Bring the maturity back. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. There's a we to this. There's team Caston. This is like the rally cry that we often coach a lot of couples is like team herd, right? Team Lukai. Like this is a team. This is our rally cry. We high five each other. And if it's a good time, awesome. Bad times, it's still team Caston. It's not you and me against each other. It's you and me against the kids, against stress, against the money, against whatever comes our way.
Sure.
We stand together.
Yeah.
And can I just encourage anyone listening or watching us that when you're hurt and you're in it, it's really hard to see that. And
Yeah.
that's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. That's why we all exist. That's why there's therapists. That's why there's marriage coaches. That's why there's pastors who have a heart to say, it's okay that you are stuck. That's when we would say you need to get a third party involved because these habits can work for anybody. But if you're like, we tried and we're still frustrated or, we watched a video and we're still this, you just need a third party to come in that can really guide you, support you, and help you see that weenus that you've now, that now you
That's actually
can
going to be the
see.
title of our next book.
Yeah.
Venus.
The weenus.
The weenus.
Yes.
That's gonna
Yeah.
sell some
Yeah.
copies.
Man, we're good with the titles
Yeah.
here. We got some good titles
Yeah.
coming our way.
It'd be,
Naked walking.
Venus
or
envy?
naked running.
Oh my gosh.
you mentioned it.
We have an enlarged weenus.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys have
Switching.
mastered the weenus.
I would like to bring some purity into this.
Yes.
Yes.
So to your point, Megan, I love the idea that, you would bring in a third party if you can't seem to find breakthrough.
Yeah.
But the thing that you need to do if you're going to see a therapist is to say, here's where we're struggling. Can you focus us in on this? Because
Yes.
too many therapists
They go,
just spend ad infinitum exploring everything,
Correct.
but not getting to the heart of what the couple was dealing with.
Sure.
I would
would like-
actually like to say, well, let me just say,
Go ahead.
I'm going to say, I actually think couples therapy does more damage to couples.
It can.
Unless you can find a really good action-oriented therapist. But with over 300 DMs a day on our Instagram channel, 30% of them are the same story. We've been stuck in therapy for years. We've spent thousands of dollars and we haven't done anything because all we do is just talk. She validates and then she goes, "Oop, it's time. We'll see you next week."
Okay.
It's a codependent relationship.
Yes. So this is based off, I kind of knew you were going to go that direction. So here's what we like to say. We are very pro individual therapy. I think if everyone could go by yourself, it's amazing. Hopefully you have a good therapist. Marriage therapy has a very low success rate. Again, are there wonderful marriage therapists? Yes, we have one. We were stuck a few years ago and we went and it was amazing, right? Here's the problem though, is that the couple is hurting. They don't know what's normal therapy and what's not normal therapy. They're trusting this professional. And unfortunately, there's a lot of really bad therapists out there. And they take advantage or they work for the insurance company, we would say, not for the couple, if you're paying through insurance. And they want to see you over and over again because then they get paid. It's horrible, I know. Now, again, there are wonderful therapists. Hold on, don't interrupt me. Just let me finish my train of thought here. But here's what I want to say is that I do agree. You need to go to, if you're going to go the therapy route, it's ideal if you only have actually one or two issues. The problem is that couples wait 6, 7, 10 years and they have 30 issues.
Sure.
And it's very overwhelming and it'll take you years and tens of thousands of dollars. So there's a lot of other alternatives that you could do. Coaching though, everybody could benefit from. But same thing, there's bad marriage coaches out there. We've heard them.
Yeah.
We do marriage coaching.
Right.
But I think that I feel bad for couples who are actually trying to go to the third party. They don't get good results. A lot of people will go to their pastor thinking, well, he knows everything. I'm like, well, maybe the pastor's marriage is hurting. You don't even know. Or is he trained? Does he have, you're the best. But we're so fortunate that we knew you.
You're second best.
Thanks.
You're
He is
second
the best. He's
but
the
I
best.
feel like, but you've been doing this for so long
Decades.
and you're not a BSer. You're very direct. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this field that they need to speak a little bit more truth and love to the couple.
Yeah.
And
Well, and they
that's
don't,
what you do.
and they
I
don't
love
have
that.
the tools to teach people how to repair their relationship. So they just kind of throw scripture at them or a prayer, and they're like, okay, but what am I supposed to do with this hurt feeling?
And to that point, this is where modern therapy has a problem. They don't deal with what you guys talk about in the book.
Nope.
If you don't do the repair, you can't build off of it.
Yeah.
So you can give them all the tools they want,
Yes.
but they're going to sabotage it by their resentment.
Correct.
But I want you to think about how Jesus, his perspective on marital conflict was. The Sermon on the Mount, he said, if you at the altar, here you are doing this holy thing of giving a gift at the altar, of worshiping Jesus. And in that moment, you go, I have something against my brother. I am going to do the na game until you figure your relationship out. Then come back and then give your gift back at the altar.
Priority. Yeah.
It is such a high priority. And yet so many couples allow that constant brokenness, that, the place of disconnection and Christian couples to exist in a world where Jesus is like, hey, I'm not going to listen to what you have to say until you figure this out, because this is the most important thing.
Well, that's why it's in the Lord's daily prayer is about forgiveness, because we're all broken, hurting people. We're going to hurt each other. Usually it's unintentional, hopefully. Yeah. Sometimes we push buttons, but most of the time it's unintentional. We just have to learn how to repair. And agreed, all therapists are trained on it. I don't know why they don't do it more. And when we start coaching couples, we'll say, did your therapist that you worked with for 3 years teach you this? No.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the heck? I'm like, I'm so sorry. But again, they're trusting this person. And we have to remember, most people cannot afford therapy.
Well,
it's
again,
very
you can't leave where you
expensive.
haven't been. If that therapist has never had to work through a bad marriage, they don't know how important repair work is.
Yes, and therapists aren't technically allowed to share personal information, and I completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
I understand, but I think that we can share, like, you guys, oh my gosh, we've done that too. Here's what we did.
Right.
That makes the couple feel normal, human. It brings it to a human level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things that we do at Maverick River is ignite men to follow Jesus and radically change the world. A men's ministry is a marriage ministry. A men's ministry is a fatherhood ministry. A men's ministry should impact every sector of the church as well as the home and the community. And so a man is at his best when his marriage is strong and healthy. So the work that you guys are doing,
Yes.
phenomenal.
So good.
Your new book, Marriage Habit, we'll make sure to link all your things. Marriage365. Let's get that right, Eric.
Whoa,
and
you're the one that wrote it.
And every 4 years, it's Marriage 366.
there you go. And so thank you for this amazing conversation. Honestly, we could continue to talk for hours, and the wisdom that you guys have, the vulnerability, and even your own story of pain through, really hard years, but you worked really hard, and now you're helping thousands of couples. Praise God for the work that you guys are doing. It's been a pleasure to have you on. So goofy and silly. I love it. Eric just barely behaved himself. So good job.
I'm just contributing.
You've contributed a ton. So thank you guys for joining us on the podcast today. And guys, please check out all their different resources. This is incredible stuff for both men, women, couples, families, you name it. Make sure you check out all the things that they have to help people. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, this is Tim Lukai, founder and CEO of MaverickRiver.com, a nonprofit to ignite men to follow Jesus and radically change the world. We do many things. The podcast is just one part of our ministry, but we also equip and train churches all over the country and now all over the world to build vibrant and transformative men's ministries. We also take men on adventures, very intentional adventures where we dive into God's word and we do incredible things so guys can hear God's voice and be transformed. And of course, we have this podcast for you. So if you're interested in learning more, make sure you check out MaverickRiver.com. We'd love for you to support the mission and be a part of the impact that we're making on a global level.